So let's talk about the Wargaming Tax. This is a tactica that is not specifically directed to a particular gaming system, but this idea exists internally in many wargaming systems that have some sort of structure or some sort of balance. And it's important to be able to understand the currency. We're looking at a kind of a high level. You're going to slot in your wargaming system to this tactica to understand the currency of the wargaming system and to make sure you have enough toys on the table. So from that perspective, generally speaking, outside of historical wargaming, you have some sort of point system. This idea that whether it's battle value, power points, squadron points, credits, tonnage, whatever it's going to be, you have currency that you buy your force, I buy my force. So this way we can have radically different forces, but we can, in theory, be somewhat balanced, or at least be able to make decisions that are fair and then take it out from there. Now, this battle value, I'm using a battle tech term, battle value. This battle value currency, most of the time, it's equal. There are certain missions where it might be adjusted. If it's an attacker versus defender, and we agree for 2,000 battle value, and you're the defender, so you've got some good terrain, you can pick the area I'm going to approach. Maybe I get 2,500 battle value to offset that, to realize that. Now, in historical wargaming, just to kind of frame the tactica here, often this idea of points, currency, battle value, whatever we want to call it, support points, chain of command, fantastic World War II rule set, it is out of balance because this is historical. You're trying to recreate a battle, and very, very few battles are even remotely balanced from that perspective. So historical wargaming is a little bit aside, but modern wargaming, sci-fi, fantasy, you have battle value. So when I'm buying out my units, I need to spend my currency as efficiently as possible. Now, this is where we get into the design phase. We often have an army, a squadron, an armada that follows some sort of narrative. That narrative might be scarcity. Hey, these are elite units. There's only 100 of these in the entire universe. It's kind of weird that you've got 50 on the table right now, but okay. We also see this idea of, well, this is a very, very powerful unit, but it's elite guards, right? There's these different units that might be more powerful or have special abilities, and you can't just outright take them. One of the ways they balance it out is you need to include another unit. This is the Wargaming Tax, and this is what you really, really need to pay attention to when you're building your list, because then you won't have critical mass. Now, hold this idea of critical mass for a moment. We're going to put that aside. Let's explore this tax. And again, I'm really kind of generalizing here. I look at battle value and I say, wow, if I can purchase this mech, if I can purchase this unit, it's 4,000 battle value. It is potent, it is amazing, it is destructive. But it's an elite unit, and there needs to be a commander on the table. That 4,000 battle value, the commander's 1,000 battle value. And maybe the commander's not even really that good. I mean, the rules are okay, but they're not terribad, but they're not like great. To get that unit on the table is not 4K, it's 5K. So this is a stealth tax. You have to really watch out, because to get some of these units, you have to include other things. You know, back in the day, 40K, one of my favorite units was taking this commissar. It's kind of like a HQ commander, but it was part of a penal legion. I mean, we're going way back. And the commissar itself had some tremendous abilities, not only as a model, but issuing orders and commands that you could blast out to other units and essentially make them fearless and make them very, very potent. So if I had a tank squadron, which was powerful in 40K at the time, I've got my commissar blessing them in the name of the emperor and ordering them forward. Tremendous tactical value. To buy that commissar, you had to buy a penal legion, a whole bunch. Now, besides the fact you had to have 50 miniatures to represent this, that unit was not that good at all. It was easily killed, so it gave up victory points. It didn't do a lot of damage. I'd rather take the battle value I needed to buy in with that and put it towards another Lehman Russ or a Basilisk tank, just something. Hellhound. I love Hellhounds, still do. Just something out there. That's an example of the stealth tax. Old Grey Knight players, as long as we're going down memory lane, you wanted to get an assassin on the table. single model, very, very potent. You had to take an Inquisitor, and all the Inquisitors at the time were just junk because the model wasn't that great. And then you had to buy certain war gear at a minimum, which was very, very expensive. So that 210-point assassin was really like 420. You got to take the stealth tax, if there is one, into account. If you don't, you're not going to have critical mass on the table. Critical mass represents having enough models to accomplish the mission, even with an elite, super powerful army. Super, super powerful army. I'm Fritz. I'm going to take the minimum amount of models, but they're going to be so jacked up. These units are going to be so jacked up. They're just going to be diesel and just decimate everything on the table. Right, but you can't be everywhere at once. It's still a dice-based game or an action economy. If I get lucky, if I roll enough dice at that unit, if I hit it with enough stuff, if I light it up with enough stuff, then I'm going to vape you. I'm going to put the damage on. You're going to lose it. You can take a lot, but you're going to lose it. You just won't have enough to achieve the mission goals. You need to have what I call critical mass. And taking some of these powerful units, absolutely. I love powerful units. Another one that comes to mind was when we were playing All Quiet on the Martian front. Taking some elite tripods as the Martian player. Just mad powerful. Mad powerful. But you had to take an Overlord tripod, which fit the narrative. It was like a command tripod. But it was bad. It was just terrible bad. It was not a good unit. It was not a good model. So you quickly realized the rules needed to be adjusted a little bit. And we didn't. We were playing rules as written because you'd have to take these command ones and you didn't want to give them up. Well, two things happened. You either, depending on the mission, you didn't want to give it up, so you just hid the command unit in the back and it did nothing. You hid it in a building or a barn, and then you forgot about it. And when we packed up the terrain, we put it away, and it hung out till next week, where you pulled it out again. Or it was so worthless if it was like an annihilation mission, you just ran the thing forward and hope it soaked up a couple of shots on the way in. And you're like, wait, this Martian command unit would never play like that. But you were forced to do that because it was a stealth tax to get these elite tripods, which you wanted, which were mad potent. You wanted them on the table. So look for the stealth tax. You need to consider that not only in the mission, but also in the unit that you are buying, making sure you have critical mass, because there is that tipping point. You could take those elite units and alone have critical mass because you've bought other units and you've got all the mission parameters. But as soon as you've got that tax, now things start to change and you have less on the table than you think.